Welcome back to Mystery in the Dark. There are secrets hidden in the shadows of the business world, secrets of empires that rose to the sky and fell into the abyss. Today, we bring you a story not of ghosts or spirits, but of a corporate haunting. A story of how a single laugh turned a $5 billion giant into a ghost. Stay with us as we descend into the darkness of the greatest business execution in history. If we turn the pages of history, we find many tales where a single wrong decision reduced entire empires to dust. But in the world of business, there is an incident on record where death came not from a weapon, but from a single laugh. Imagine the month of September in the year 2000. We are on the 20th floor of a towering skyscraper in Dallas, Texas. This is the headquarters of Blockbuster, the company that was the undisputed king of the global entertainment industry at the time. A meeting is taking place inside this office. On one side sits Blockbuster's CEO John Antioco, a man whose annual income is in the millions and at whose beck and call Hollywood movies are made hits or flops. Sitting directly across from him are two young men. Their clothes are simple, their faces show exhaustion, and their eyes hold that specific restlessness found only in those who have nothing left to lose. These were Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph, the owners of a small, struggling company at the time called Netflix. Reed Hastings opened his file and made an offer that could have changed Blockbuster's destiny forever. He said, "John, buy us for $50 million. We will do the work for you that your 9,000 stores cannot. We will take Blockbuster onto the internet." Upon hearing this, John Antioco leaned back in his chair, looked toward the ceiling, and let out a laugh so loud it echoed through the entire hall. He said with pure contempt, "Online business is just a fad that will vanish in a few months. You guys are asking for $50 million for this trash idea? This is a joke." Today, here at Mystery in the Dark, we chase that very laugh and learn how that laughter turned into screams of despair in just a few short years. We will explore the reasons why Blockbuster's CEO was blind to the future. To go deeper into this story, we must understand the era when Blockbuster ruled the world. In the 1990s, if you wanted to watch a movie, you had only one path. You had to visit a Blockbuster store. Their blue and yellow stores were present in every street and every neighborhood, serving as the place where families spent their weekends together. At that time, Blockbuster's power was absolute. They had over 9,000 stores worldwide and more than 60,000 employees. A new Blockbuster store opened in America every 17 minutes. But behind this glitz and glamour, a dark reality was hidden. Blockbuster's business model was not built on renting movies, but on trapping its customers. Their biggest earning did not come from the movie rent itself, but from late fees. If you were even an hour late in returning a film, Blockbuster would charge you a fine that was often more than the actual price of the movie. This was their secret weapon, from which they earned $800 million annually. Yes, $800 million was generated just from the helplessness and delays of their customers. The year was 1997 when Reed Hastings rented a movie called Apollo 13 and forgot to return it. When he reached the store, he was told he had to pay a $40 fine. Reed was a mathematician. He understood numbers, and this amount hit him with intense rage. He thought, "Am I a customer of Blockbuster or their prisoner?" As he left that store, the fire of revenge was burning in his mind. Later, while exercising at the gym, he realized how great the gym model was. You pay a monthly fee once and use it as much as you want. He wondered why the same model couldn't be adopted for movies. One monthly fee and no late fees. But a massive technical wall stood in his way. At that time, movies were on VHS tapes. They were heavy, and the magnetic reels inside were delicate. Sending them through the mail seemed like an act of foolishness. The weight of a single tape was significant, and if the tape broke or was damaged in transit, the entire business would turn to dust. But fate had other plans. At that very moment, a new technology was being developed in Japan called the DVD. When Reed saw a DVD for the first time, he found the key to his success. This silver shining disc was so light that it could be placed in a standard paper envelope and mailed for the price of a single stamp. Reed and Mark Randolph performed a fascinating experiment. They mailed a music CD to themselves in an envelope. When that disc arrived uncracked and perfect, they knew Blockbuster's bad days were starting. They founded Netflix in a small, cheap garage with secondhand furniture. They placed a small bell in the center of the office that rang for every new order. When the website went live, the bell rang so frequently the office echoed with noise. However, a new mystery appeared. People wanted to buy movies rather than rent them. Reed Hastings took a massive gamble and stopped selling DVDs entirely to focus on his true vision: the subscription model. In 1998, the Bill Clinton scandal broke in America, and everyone wanted to see the grand jury testimony. Blockbuster refused to stock it due to morality, but Netflix saw an opening and provided the video for just 2 cents, making them a household necessity overnight. Despite this fame, Netflix was financially broken because all their money was going into postage costs and buying new inventory. This is why in the year 2000 they went to Blockbuster for help, only to be laughed out of the room. After that humiliation, Reed told Mark, "Now, we don't save our company, we erase Blockbuster." They poured all their strength into technology and customer service. Netflix made the subscription model so easy that customers no longer felt the need to go to stores, stand in lines, or face the humiliation of fines. Blockbuster was now trapped in its own net. Their entire structure stood on the rent of 9,000 stores, electricity bills, and the salaries of thousands of employees, all of which were funded by the very customer fines that were now disappearing. If they removed late fees, their profit would vanish. If they didn't, customers fled to Netflix. CEO John Antioco finally began to realize his mistake, but it was too late. He tried to copy Netflix, but his own board of directors turned against him because they wanted to make money the old way. They believed that visiting a store was a necessity for customers and that the internet was merely a passing phase. This internal civil war hollowed out Blockbuster from the inside. Then, in 2007, Netflix launched its streaming service, dropping a digital nuclear bomb that drove the final nail into the coffin. There was no longer a need for DVDs or envelopes, right? Just one click and the movie was on your screen. Blockbuster's 9,000 stores became graveyards. In the digital age, such a massive physical presence was a lethal burden. Blockbuster tried to move into streaming far too late, and by then, Netflix had already become the king of the market. In September 2010, the empire that once refused to buy Netflix for $50 million declared bankruptcy and crumbled into the dust. Blockbuster accumulated so much debt that they had to sell their assets for pennies. Today, Netflix is a global power worth over $300 billion. Producing its own content and serving millions of users worldwide. On the other hand, Blockbuster's entire universe has shrunk to just one single store. This last store exists in Bend, Oregon, as a monument of warning, where people visit just to see what happens when you refuse to change with the times. The owner of this store says that people often come there and cry, remembering their childhood when they used to rent movies from these aisles. This story is not just a business war. It is a human lesson that when you become blind with the intoxication of success and look down on others, nature makes your own decisions the source of your destruction. Blockbuster had the money, the power, and the customers. But they lacked the vision that Netflix had, and that single deficiency lost them to the shadows of history forever. Today, when we press play on Netflix, the echo of that laugh from John Antioco still remains. A laugh that has become the most expensive and tragic joke in the history of the world. The shadows have long since swallowed the blue and yellow stores of Blockbuster, leaving only lessons behind. If you enjoyed this journey into the corporate abyss, don't forget to like and subscribe to Mystery in the Dark. What other fallen empires do you want us to uncover? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, keep looking into the shadows. Good night.